All right, you have found yourself on an episode of Bulls Digest going live, just talking about the NBA schedule right now and just some of the key dates that are happening for us. The schedule's released across the league, and so I just want to go ahead and jump right into it. I think that when you first look at the schedule, the first thing that comes to mind is that our first home game is against OKC. That is Alex Caruso returning to face the Chicago Bulls at home. That's after we go back to back on the road to start off. And then December, we face off against the Philadelphia 76ers for the first time. That's going to be Andre Drummond coming back to face the Chicago Bulls. And then it gets a little tough for us in December. I think December 19th through the 28th, that is where we have Boston twice, we have Milwaukee twice. Then going into March, the 17th through the 31st, we've got the Jazz, we got Phoenix, we got Sacramento, we got the Lakers, Denver, Lakers again, Dallas Mavericks, and then we have OKC. November 4th through the 15th, we have Jazz, Dallas, we have Minnesota, we have Atlanta, Cavs, Knicks, Cavs. And so those, I think, are key moments in the Chicago Bulls calendar. I think that those are going to be some tough stretches, and I think that that is where we're really going to find out a bit about the Chicago Bulls for sure. But, I think that right now we are picked to win like maybe about 27, 28 games, so under 30 games. I know there's been a lot of speculation out there as to are the Chicago Bulls going to tank or not. I just think that they're not that bad to be a tanking team, especially when you have still Zach Lavine and you have Vooch on the roster. It's going to be a little bit tough to go ahead and just outright tank. And so, I think that the Chicago Bulls are going to be decent. I think at this point, I have them at least winning 30 games. I believe last season we went 39-43. Remember, a lot of those games were clutch games where we had DeMar DeRozan kind of helping us to pull it out. So we're really trying to figure out what it's going to look like now with Kobe White essentially taking over there. And I think he showed that he can be a closer, all right? And he wants to be the closer for this team, and he also wants to be the leader for this team. So, now it's just a matter of him getting into those situations, I guess, trusting his talent level. And then the bigger question is Billy Donovan going to trust him, right? Because Billy Donovan now doesn't have that veteran presence to really lean on. And so you have to ask yourself, okay, how good is Billy Donovan going to be, all right? Because we've seen this whole narrative around him that the Chicago Bulls might be willing to part ways with him at the end of the season, and he might be wanting to part ways from the Bulls because he's looking to get out of a rebuild situation. And so there's just so many questions around the Chicago Bulls at this point, and I really do wonder about the Chicago Bulls, but I think that they are going to at least win 30 games or so. Let me know in the comments what you're thinking. Wanted to jump on real quick and really just go over the schedules again. So right now, if you're taking a look at the screen, just looking at Kobe White and Billy Donovan, I think that this is going to be a huge question mark, I think, for the Chicago Bulls. Again, it's just, how good is Kobe White? And then how good is Billy Donovan as a coach? And I thought it was interesting. I was listening to another podcast. They were talking about how secure Billy Donovan's job is. And it made a lot of sense because they were saying that Billy Donovan has a lot more of a voice with the Chicago Bulls than he did with OKC, which suggests that's probably why he still wants to stay with the Chicago Bulls, even if they are looking to go into a rebuild. And I think that he's really pushing towards more of the front office as well. I think that really is what that screams of when you're starting to talk about having a voice and really starting to be able to pick players and, kind of be in those meetings and things like that when it comes down to drafting and all that stuff like that. Looks like Billy Donovan might be trending a little bit more towards the front office. And when you listen to the front office talk about Billy Donovan, they rave about him. And even AK has come out and said, look, I've got to do a better job as far as putting better talent around Billy Donovan. So, it just really makes you think, I don't know if the Bulls are necessarily going to part ways with Billy Donovan. And I think, too, Billy Donovan has to ask himself, if he was going to go through this, why didn't he just stay with Sam Presti, right? Because OKC is a contender in the West, and so he could have maybe still been there. So interesting enough. But, another thing that I'll throw out there as well is that I think regardless of what happens in the schedule and as far as wins and losses this year, the Chicago Bulls need to really focus on player development, all right? And so, that player development is going to focus around its young core. We have Josh Giddey coming over from OKC, and you're wondering, okay, is Josh Giddey the guard that the Chicago Bulls are looking for as far as being a lead guard, because it looks like they're going to move on from Lonzo Ball. And then, with Modest Buzelis, our question is, well, how good is Modest Buzelis? And I think the only way we're going to find out how good Modest Buzelis is we have to absolutely play him. I think that, you can take a lot of practice shots and everything else, but you need to get out there against some live defense. Like, we got to see him, learn how to shoot the ball, from the arc, so to speak, in real games. So he's got to learn how to shoot the three ball out there. And I think, too, defensively, right? Because there's a lot of stuff defensively that translated in the Summer League. So we want to see, now that you're going against elite players, like, can you stop a Jamal Murray when he's coming down the lane, or Jalen Brunson? Are you going to be able to hold your own when Embiid is in there, or the Joker? Like, we want to see exactly what he can do, and the only way to do that is to actually let him play. Same with Julian Phillips, and also, too, Dalen Terry. You got to let these guys play. So regardless of what the record is for the Chicago Bulls, they have absolutely got to play the younger players. And, I say that because you don't want to slow down some development from last year. I mean, just think of this. We're probably going to have Dosunmu come off the bench because we still have veterans playing right now. And so this is something where I don't want to see, players that are going to be in our long-term future have to sit out. And so let me know in the comments what you're thinking. But again, I think that we have a tough stretch on the schedule in December, and then also, too, in March. November, I talked about that early test with the Jazz, the Dallas. You got the Timberwolves, you got Atlanta, the Cavs, the Knicks, and the Cavs. So we're going to find out pretty quickly what this Chicago Bulls team is made of. And so let me know in the comments what you guys are thinking. Do you think that we are a plus 30 team? Do you think that we are going to be able to hold on to our pick? Just wanted to hop on and just share my thoughts about the NBA schedule. Make sure that you stay locked into the channel. I so appreciate you guys, and continue to keep slam dunking on that subscribe button. Means a lot to us as we try to reach our goal of 5,000 subscribers before the NBA season starts. And so I'll see you guys on the next one.